It's Sunday, it's Sunday, it's time to motivate. It's Sunday, it's Sunday, it's time to motivate. I know, I just made that up, right? Hey, happy Sunday. It is time to motivate the motivator, or for you all to find out who motivates me. So, happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you all are so good today. And if you're not, I hope we get to say some stuff today that lifts your spirits, that motivates you, that inspires you, and that gets you back to you. How's that? So today we are speaking to Bridgette Duncan. I know, it's, what I'm loving about all this, these are all reminders of, the greatness of the people that I am surrounded by, and the greatness of the people that I am blessed to come into contact with. So that's what I love about these conversations, that they really do. They make a difference in a lot of people's lives. I've been hearing that a lot, which is really, it's wonderful. It's really wonderful to find out that these conversations get people thinking, and these conversations help folks. Hey, sweetie. These conversations help to get people in, to get out of their heads, actually, because sometimes you got to do that. And for some reason, y'all know I'm squinting. That means, yo, Bridgette, I can't see you. There you go. I got it. Got it. I know some of y'all are like, girl, how many more times you going to do this before you realize how this works? Hey, baby. Hi, Minnie. Oh, that hair. Oh, your hair. I love it's so dope.
I'm obsessed. Just obsessed. I
love your hair. It is so dope. You know what? So orange, the colors for my company are purple, orange, and pink. I got the purple. You got the orange. We got to put some pink somewhere around here. We'll figure it out.
I was going to put some lip gloss, but I was like, maybe not.
Some lip gloss?
I was going to put on some pink lip gloss, but then I've been so on green because I realized how much green I have, and I'm like, poison ivy realness. And I'm like, that's all I've been wearing is green. I was like, I'm just going to wear green.
I love it. Chantel, one of our Black Girl Pilates sisters, she put something up the other day where it was all green. She was like, I'm in this green space, this green. It was all olive or khaki or something like that. I love when we get
What I love the Sherry. You're a Shirley Chisholm fan.
Reagan is the press, but I voted for Shirley Chisholm. Old school hip hop for y'all. But yes, no matter what, she will always be one of my heroes. She will always be one of my heroes. So I didn't give you I just said your name. I didn't give too much the intro just yet. So, which is good, because I love this, because, people will, when they watch it later, they'll be like, fast forward, Latifah just yapping, and let me get to the good stuff. What? Seriously? Where'd she go?
Right here. I just need the light to my side, my eyes.
Hey, boo-boo. So, this is Bridgette Duncan, y'all. She is, first of all, absolutely amazing. We have, we are in Black Girl Pilates together. People have heard that many times, because I've had many people on here that I've met through Black Girl Pilates. And of course, I had Sonia on, who started Black Girl Pilates. Mm-hmm. So we met through there. We have marched together this summer. Yes. We have marched together. We have laughed together. We have worked out together. We have had some really nice charting up sessions together. We've had some really good ones. And I've just been inspired by, let me move this up a little, something. That should be good. Ooh, I'll back up. But I've just always been really inspired by Bridgette. She is fierce, strong, motivating. Oh, God, what else? Empowering, and just a hustler. And not like she's gonna hustle you for your money. Like, she's a hustler. She is out there doing her thing. And she is not just doing her thing for the sake of herself. She is doing her thing for the sake of our community. She is doing her thing, doing her part to make sure that we're getting healthy, we're getting wealthy, and we're getting wise. So we're going to get to all of that good stuff. But she is also a dancer, because once a dancer, always a dancer. Always. So let's start with that, because that you have all these things that kind of lead into who you are now, where you are now, and where you're going, all the things you're doing now to get to where you're going. So let's talk about dance and fitness and how those two came about. So let's just go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll start saying I'm an Aries, and I say that to salute, finishing off my last little bit of coffee.
Yep, go for it.
I have like a 2 coffee minimum for the days, so that's kind of hard for me. I'll drink coffee all day. But for me, I'm an Aries through and through. So my mom threw me in dance class. It was just like, I'm tired of this little girl bebopping around my house. Get out and go do something. So that's how I ended up in dance. So my mom was just like, I'm tired. She was in off Campbellton Road. Was like, oh, there's a black dance studio. Boom, there.
Wait, tell everybody where you grew up.
I'm from Atlanta originally. I went to college in Philly, and now I live in New York. Harlem. But I started dance then. So it's been since I was like 5. So dance has been in and out of my life, just always, like, just dancing. Like, I've always been the one to cut some music. I've been the one just cut a rug all the time. I just love it. And I didn't really get serious about it until high school, when you get to like the magnet schools and stuff like that. Like, I went to Tri-Cities. So I got into magnet school there, and I was like, ooh, I can do both. I was an orchestra kid and I was a dance kid. So I was just a nerd in the arts in general. So I chose both. I was the only person in like the history to ever do both magnets, like orchestra and dance, because they were like, oh, well, you have to do both. I was like, I'm actually pretty badass in both. So I did both. Thank you.
Own that. Yes.
And then after that, it was one of those that I never thought I could have a career in dance. And then near the end of high school, I was like, oh, I could do this. I see myself doing this. It makes me really happy. And I don't want to do anything else. I don't want a real job. I've always had that kind of mindset. Like, I don't want a 9 to 5. This is just get up. Like, I don't want 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is a no. So then I went to Temple. That's where I got my dance degree. I stayed in Philly for 6 years. I danced with Phiandanco. I was in their second company right out of school.
Say that again. Then, she danced with who?
Phiandanco.
Yeah, she's real. Go ahead.
I was in their second company right out of school. And then right before I left Philly, I was actually debating between Dallas and New York. And I was like, if I moved to Dallas, because I got invited to audition for Dallas Black Dance Theater. And at the time, the owner and the director was a soror of mine. So I'm going to look at Alpha.
Tell them what sorority you're a part of.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So I was there for the director and the owner, and then the rehearsal director. They all invited me to come and audition. Or I was like, let me go to New York. I had just had an audition for Fela. I got to like the 3rd round, and I was like,
I didn't know about that. Really?
Yeah. That was the reason why I moved to New York. I was like, okay, I can't do dance company life, because dance company life is not that. It's very, it can be stifling if you're not mentally prepared for it. Right. And for me personally, I'm not mentally prepared for a company life. I like to eat way too much food. But then also musical theater, on the other hand, you can't drink a lot, you can't smoke a lot, you can't have a lot of sugar, because you have to be ready to sing and dance and do all the things at the same time. So I just found the life to be very but I'm like, I like to have a good time. I like food. So I lived in New York for like 4 years, and dancing and doing the odd jobs to keep your life. You know, we all have like 8,000 jobs. I've always been 8 jobs.
Or you're going to, whatchamacallit, you're going to starve.
Exactly. So I would have like the restaurant jobs. I used to be a cook for 4 years, a waitress, bartender, cater person. So I did all that kind of like regular, normal performance jobs that you have. But then I had a friend, and they were like, you'd be a really good trainer. Like, you're really good, you're strong, like, you like to work out in general. Like, I always went to the gym randomly by myself just to keep in shape as a dancer. And then they were like, you should just go be a trainer. And I just tried it. My first job that I applied to was Equinox. I got through the whole thing just about, and then they just didn't hire me because I don't know why. It was weird. They just didn't hire me. And then I ended up at Crunch. That was my first personal training job. Hated it. I never am going back to a big box gym again. I hate them personally. It's just too stifling. You don't really, it's like a meal. Like I call it like a puppy meal, like the people who just like work
Yeah.
out all the puppies.
And it's all about those numbers. You got to get your numbers in. You got to hit the numbers, got to hit the numbers, got to hit the numbers. Yeah.
And that's how they tell you. So if you're not pulling in 3-4 grand a week, a month, or however much, you kind of can't really live a life. And then my first Pilates, I was still dancing for a company, still dancing on the side. One of my dance company members, a Black woman, Sasha, was dancing for this company in Lower East Side. And she was like, Bridgette, I was training for the marathon in 2017. And she was like, Bridgette, why don't you just come take a personal Pilates session with me? You know your hips hurting, da-da-da-da. That was literally after that, because at first, the first instance I had with Pilates was in college. So I studied classical mat for a semester for like 6 months. In college, like my junior year, hated it. I really hated it. Really hated it. Hated the teacher. Hated the method. Like I was like, I'm never doing this again. Give me a yoga class and get out my face. Like, period.
Wow.
And yeah, and I tell people,
it's
like,
amazing
the thing that
what the right teacher can do for you.
The right teacher, but also I understand why some people tend to like the reformer and then switch to mat. Because when she gave me a reformer session, we did some chair and then we finished off with mat at the end. And I was like, okay, is this the same thing? Like, is this different? She was like, no, this is all Pilates. Like, you just have apparatuses and then you have mat work. But she was like, you probably just didn't like the mat work because you didn't like your teacher. So it all matters about your teacher. It all matters about who breaks it down for you. Everyone has a different learning style. I'm definitely still learning that as well.
Yes.
So it was one of those moments, like, it's just the teacher. My legs was wide open. I was like, oh, we're doing legs. I had leg circles. That's what gets everybody. Leg circles. Everyone.
The leg circles are, it's so funny. People are just like, shoot, shoot. I'm like, no. When you do Pilates properly, you don't have to do 8 million reps. You could do 5 and start sweating.
Your life changed. Your whole life changed.
Your body is so in tune with all the rest of your mind is so in tune with the rest of your body. Love it.
Like you're breathing, your proprioceptors are moving around, the tension is dissipating. I was like, okay. And then I was like, asking, I was like, where'd you get certified? And then just so happened, serendipitously, I applied to a job in the city. I was working at this little hoity-toity club called, let me not say their name, a club in the city. It was very private, very white, very fancy. I was their women's fitness director. So it was a small little women's program. So I got to be there for a year and a half, had like the 9-to-5 benefits and holidays and all that good jazz. They paid for my first 2 certifications. So they paid for my reformer and they paid for my mat.
Cool.
And I was like, okay. So yeah, for me, the rest of my other parts of my certification I paid for myself, but my first 2 certifications were free. And I was like, oh, okay. They were like, well, you can just teach private. So I started teaching privates, and I was like, I really, really like this. And then I just slowly let me go work at a studio. Let me go see if I really, really like this. And then I found Black Girl Pilates, and it's kind of been over since.
So it's been 3 years. So you started taking Pilates 3 years ago, or you trained. Well, it was all like around the same thing, right?
It literally was like after I had my first private in like August 2017. I got the job September 2017. I ran the marathon November, and I got my certification December 2017. It was literally like the universe was like, here. I was like, oh, all right.
I told y'all she was a hustler.
That was the one thing I realized was I learned in that kind of moment just how if you honor yourself truly and utterly, the universe will always supply everything you need. Like everything you need. Just honor yourself.
Honor yourself.
Just acknowledge it.
Be true to you.
Come back.
So all of that turned into your company, SlamDuncan Wellness. Let's talk. How did you decide you wanted to have your own company? 1, and then 2, what the heck does your company do? What do we know about your company? So first, how did all of that translate into getting a company? Because the whole road to entrepreneurship is so different. I love having everybody on because their roads are so freaking buried. So it can be anything. And I love to tell people that because I'm like, you may think you don't have a road, but there's 8 million of them. You just got to find the one for you. So that's why I love having all of your stories on here. Sorry, I'm on my little thingy. So
Um,
go for it.
on top of all of that, in 2018, I started pre-med. Woo!
Which we're definitely going to
Exactly.
talk about. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yes.
I do a lot. So
Yes.
I started taking like one class here, one class there. Because, you know, as a 30-some-odd-year-old woman, getting back in school is a struggle. So I started with like one class here, one class there, just to get myself back in the swing of learning. Because learning as an adult is really hard because it's really also focuses you on being mental flexible. We'll come back to that later. That deals with physically being flexible, but that's a whole
We're
different
going to talk about
ballgame.
that. Yeah.
But I was writing a paper for class, and it was talking about the luxury of leisure and how I was looking into like women of color and the break point between how come I always had, and it was for me, it was always a question of how come there's so many white people that I train, or how there's so many white people in my Pilates classes and queer and like just no one like me or no one like my friends in my classes. Like, also, have you ever tried to get a friend or get one of your friends to come to a Pilates class? Like, that's hard.
It is hard.
Exactly. It's hard. So trying to get them to come is like, they are like, as in you always hear, it's always some white woman thing. It's always a white woman workout, rich white woman workout.
And I hate to hear that because I'm like, it's a body workout.
Exactly. It's a body thing.
It's a body workout. So whatever your body looks like, whatever your body is a workout for you.
Yes. And then I stumbled across my favorite Audre Lorde. And I was like, that's actually how I found it, and it gave me the inspiration, because I was like, care is a form of self-preservation. Caring is political resistance. Care is something that you need to take care of yourself, and I want more women of color to indulge in it. So that's kind of what actually built SlamDuncan Wellness. SlamDuncan is actually one of like my nicknames from college. Like one of my frat brothers used to call me SlamDuncan all the time.
Funny.
So I was like, oh, okay. So people just call me SlamDuncan.
Like, slam dunk.
Dunking on them.
Can we back up a little bit? How'd you get that name? Can we know?
He was just always like, you slam dunking on these N-words. Every time I saw him, he's like, you always slam dunking. It's like, because I was always in something or always doing something or just around doing something cool, random in college. It was really random in college. Really random.
You gotta love it. You pledged undergrad, right? You pledged at Temple?
Yeah, Temple, Jolton. But that's what happened. It was and it was one of those, like, I like slam dunking. I just like that colloquialism. I like the play on words. And it was like just all about wellness. At first it was slam dunking fit. My Insta used to be slam dunking fit. And I was like, fit doesn't like encompass me as a person. And I realized like I'm a wellness person. Like for me, it's kind of been like I feel like a lot, even just like within quarantine, I feel like a lot of things have been unearthing or just going back to my old self. And I said, I've been this way since I was little. It's just I've been going back to find who the old Bridgette was. And I realized like and I was reading this article about just women, how as we get older, when we turn 12, 13, we start to learn about society. And that's when we actually begin to lose ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I want to help people guide them back to themselves. And I think my goal is with SlamDuncan Wellness is to help provide people with freedom. Like people need freedom. You can find freedom in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. I love
and you can find freedom and it's not, doesn't always have to look like, you don't always have to do a personal training session or Pilates session. It could be something simple as breathing, something simple as journaling or just settling your mind, but trying to find yourself freedom for the entrapments that can come from just yourself, society, the thoughts of others, like all that shit's just
snaps in there. What?
All that like affects you. Like it really, really does. And I don't think people really understand. Because I think the one biggest thing I want to teach people through like SlamDuncan Wellness is that a lot of our emotions, a lot of our responses, a lot of our things are actually hidden as trauma. Like a lot of your responses or a lot of parts of your personality, not all, but parts of your personality are just trauma responses. And you kind of have to pick up on that. Wow. And for me, I realized through personal training and Pilates, for me, it's become more visceral because I'm a very physical person. Going back to me being an Aries, I'm just a very physical person. So for me, I like to always say, meet me at the mat. This is magic because it's really, you're laying down at the mat. You have to meet yourself. The hardest part is meeting yourself at the mat. The hardest part is unrolling it and laying down. Mm-hmm. You can pay your money, you can do all that, but you actually have to be present and be sitting there on the mat. And I feel like just all the moments in life have been teaching me to be present, and I just want to give that to other humans. And
that's what you do. You do that through Pilates classes. Her Pilates classes are called Magic, MATGIC. G-I-C, magic. Because it is magic.
Yes.
It's magic because when you get on that mat, you are transformed.
You are.
You truly
You're not
are.
the same.
It is magical. So I love that you call it that. So give your classes. What classes do you have? I'm trying to find my glasses. But tell the classes that you have, because I can't see like that. But
Listen, trying to find glasses without glasses is a whole nother like
girl, reading glasses.
But magic,
I look younger than I am, y'all.
you look 35.
My lips look so electric.
They do. I love them. I keep staring at them because they look awesome.
You know I love my lips. I can't even see you. Anyway, sorry, y'all, because I don't want to get into it because Bridget and I can start yapping and talking. So yeah, the classes that we have.
So magic is my classical and contemporary fused Pilates class where I guide you through a little bit of like mindfulness. You get a Pilates class, you get your butt kicked. What a Pilates class, it can literally range from any person you're with. So for me, you're gonna start on the mat, you got some glute bridges, you got some abs, you got some stretching, you got some releasing of tension, you got some not body modifications, mobility drills, you got your strengthening drills, you got everything you need to do. And then at the end, you have a moment where you come and reconnect with yourself. You have a mindful moment where you just breathe and check back in with yourself, because that's the moment I feel like a lot of people don't really give in class. Like you can go and get a Pilates class anywhere, but have you checked in with yourself? Have you thought about like what you need? Have you thought about how your body's feeling today? And that also matters to me and should matter to you as well at the end of your classes. How did you feel? Did you like the class? Did you feel better? Do you feel different than when you came in? And that's the biggest thing, is I want you to be able to feel different. And then I do a stretch and restore class, which is a sound bath and stretch class, where you basically get to listen to one of my close friends, Summer. She's a sound healer and a flutist. We have our playlist. We play music. I lead you through about 30 to 40 minutes of a stretch. And then you'll have a nice little guided meditation and then go through a sound bath. It's donation based and that's free. You can come whatever. We host that one on Zoom. But for the next 2 weeks, we're going to have them live on IG on Thursdays.
Oh, hey, Thursday at what time?
7
p.m.?
Yep.
Perfect. I'll be in class. However, they'll know about it. When I'm not in class, I'm coming.
We're going to record and save them. So we'll all be saved and recorded. So
good.
You can always go back and check it. And then just, for me, the most important thing about SlamDuncan Wellness is to just affect queer Black women and just women of color and everyone else in the world. I don't know. I just want to be a healer. It's just one of those, you have that feeling in your body where it's like, I feel like I'm a healer. And I don't say that to be like, because it's the buzzword nowadays. I'm a healer. I'm a God. I'm a this. I'm a that. Like, no, you ain't felt my hands yet. I feel like I actually am that person. Like, I just feel like I am. Like, I know I am. Not even feel, I know.
I love it. You are a healer, though. I think what's interesting is the people who don't say it are the actual healers, and the people who are like, oh, I can say this and maybe people will believe me. But you definitely are. And it's because you know what the body needs, I feel. Yeah. I think it's because you're really into what it takes to make the body feel good. Like I'll be honest, where you are, I didn't get it until probably like 40-something, when I finally was like, it's because I was so into aesthetics for so long, not caring that my joints hurt, or I just felt overworked and I was tired, but at least I had the muscle. I mean, I still have something, but at least I had the look, but my brain wasn't right. All these things are not right. It just wasn't right. But now it's like, I do not have those same muscles, but I'm telling you, I am stronger than I've ever been. Mm-hmm. I'm just more connected, and I'm more connected into feeling good. And I tell people that I'm like, well, how do you feel though? Like, how do you feel? How's your body feel? Because you talked about during quarantine the things that you did and stuff, because there are people who lost weight or gained weight or whatever, and I'm starting to get people to understand they need to talk about how they feel. How's your body feel? Because some people gained weight and they're like, you know what, I feel actually pretty good. And my numbers aren't bad. Cholesterol's still good. All this stuff is good. Everything is good. But they stopped overworking their bodies.
Exactly.
And became in touch.
And just because you're skinny, just because you have, and I feel like a lot of, and that's the one thing I've actually realized I've gotten sensitive towards is the external work that a lot of people tend to do. So the difference between self-maintenance and self-care. Self-maintenance is more so, ooh, let me go get my mani-pedi. Let me go get this lift so my butt can look great. But for me, that's why I use like personal training and all that jazz. Like it is kind of more of an aesthetic-based thing. Right. But self-care is more so the Pilates. Like, you need to Pilates. Everybody needs to stretch. I don't care who you don't need to lift a 20-pound weight. You don't. You really don't need to lift a 20-pound weight. No one said you should. You don't have to. Now, do you need to stretch? Yes, because if you don't stretch, you're not going to be able to walk 10 years from now because you've been sitting behind for too long. Now, stretching is very important. Breathing is very important. Making sure you have a connection to your body is very important. Making sure you actually can, like I've had clients who, like last minute clients, but when I was actually training a few more elderly clients when I was working at the club in the city, was they had moments where they scared the living mess out of me where they couldn't get up off the ground.
Mm.
You can't get off the ground. You're 60. You can't get off the ground. One woman broke her wrist because she couldn't push herself up.
Wow.
What's a bicep curl? A bicep curl has nothing to do with that. That's, a bicep curl ain't got nothing to do with that.
No.
Can you do your toes? Can you do a push? Can you not round your back? Can you hold yourself up and not fall to gravity?
Right.
Because regardless if you're doing a bicep curl, you're still going to be falling to gravity in that bicep curl. Can you hold yourself up? No.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, so.
Ooh, child, this is why I love talking to everyone, because not that my clients don't believe me. God bless them, they better believe me. But it's always nice to have all this backup, so to speak. When I'm like, hey, great, you did a bicep curl. Great, you did a kickback. Now, can we do some balance move? My clients hate that. Every single session, we do balance. We work on balance. Where does it stem from? What muscles are working? How are your glutes engaged? How's your belly? Are you lengthening up? They hate it. But you know what? Every single time.
You need it.
They do it every single time because they know it works.
Be careful. Like every session, all my clients, we start with glute bridges. I don't care. We're starting with glute bridges. We're starting with core. I don't care.
No matter what.
And I don't care. We're starting with glute bridges. Like regardless, you need to get them. Crossroads of your body is your hips and your abs and your low back. If that is not warm, nothing else in your body will get warm.
Nothing else works. Nothing else matters.
Nothing else.
I could talk to you about that all day, because you and I can have one of them nerdy conversations about all this. Because I am a nerd. Nerds rule. I'm a blurred. Yeah. Have you heard of the Blurred City?
I do. Oh, they have a podcast. Okay, we can go. Yeah.
I know. See, I'm sorry, y'all. See? Because we'll start yapping. Okay, so let me. So you got dance, you got fitness, all of that went into your company now, and in your company, it's more than just Pilates. It is stretching, it is breathing, it's restorative, it is bringing your mind to your body, it's proprioception, it's all of those different things, understanding where your body is at space. So these are all the classes that she has through SlamDuncan Wellness. Now, in the middle of all of that stuff that you're doing, you are in school. Yes. So let's talk about that. So you are in school. Let's talk about, you alluded to it before, and I was like, oh, we're going to get to that in a second. So you're in school now. What made you go back to school? And what are you studying? Mm-hmm. What is it? Because I already know what it is, but what are you studying? What are you studying to be? What is that? And why are you doing that?
Well, it was one moment where I realized, I guess for me, I feel like now, it was one of the moments where I realized, like, I had an actual mental breakdown. That's really what it was. I had a mental breakdown about 5 years ago before I moved into Harlem. I was still living in the Heights. I had a mental breakdown. I was like, I can't dance anymore. It was one of those, like, I don't see myself doing this long term. Like, I personally am not mentally healthy enough to keep going down that road. Also, that's a whole nother story about mental health and dancers.
Yeah, and I talk about that a lot here, because I've talked about the fight and the battle every day with depression. and anxiety.
Yes.
So mental
It
health
was one
is
of those,
very
like, I was
important.
crying on my floor.
Yeah.
I was crying on the floor for like 2 hours straight, like in a puddle, like fetal position, crying for like 2 hours. Like, I just can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. And then I met the associate physical therapist for Ailey, and they had made a life transition. And I was like, oh, so this actually can happen. And then again, honoring yourself. As long as you honor yourself, the universe will always provide. I was choreographing for Black Activity because it was like, all right, cool, let me step back and try choreography. I was choreographing for Black Activity, and I met she actually knows Sarita. They're like friends. They used to dance Ailey together. My doctor
Sarita Allen is our grand dame. She's an amazing.
And that was a great interview. That was such an amazing interview.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I met her, Dr. Carol Penn, she made the transition at 45 with a kid. And I was like, and I'm 28 and I'm complaining about like, oh, da-da-da-da. I was like, oh no, I'm going to live, like, you know what I mean? Like, with just thinking about life. I'm 28 now. If the average death rate is 83 to 84, I have close to 60 years left. What am I going to do? Do I really want to be crying right now? Do I really want to be dealing with this right now? No. So it was one of those, like, let me just make a life change. Yes, it's drastic. Yes, it's a lot. But in the end, I'll be in a better place financially. I'll be happier. But also, I can literally call my own shots, period. And that's kind of where I've always been, like, call my own shots. And now I'm a postdoc pre-med student at City College. I'm taking calculus.
I got my degree from City College.
Yes. Taking Calc and Chem right now, crying my eyes out via Zoom, but it's okay. It is really, really hard. I would say, if you know any students, just send them some nice things. Like, just pray for them, because school is really hard for teachers and everyone else engaging in it. And I want to go to med school and be an osteopathic doctor, which is a DO. So you'll see an MD, which is your medical doctor, or your allopathic doctor. So the difference between an allopathic doctor and an osteopathic doctor, so your MD and your DO, is the allopathic doctor tends to just throw drugs. And that's it. They're like, oh, okay, cool.
Wait,
you got this issue.
Wait, you're breaking up a little bit. Sorry, honey. Say that again.
Allopathic doctor is your MD. Allopathic. So your allopathic doctor is your MD. So your regular medical doctor. That is a doctor that is just going to basically, for me personally, and from my experiences as a Black queer woman in society, is they just throw drugs. Because I had a few health scares where they're just like, here, drugs. That's it. They don't really care about your mental health. They don't really care about what's actually going on in your body and actually trying to, like, treat the issue. They only throw drugs at them, and that's just my opinion. Now, osteopathic doctor, and the one that I've done the most research about, that I care about, is really the main goals for being a DO is about focusing on the mind, body, and soul connection. It's about how can we actually get to the root of the problem? How can we solve this problem? But also, how can we omit it so it doesn't come back? Because there's always a reason why something pops up. Yes, I do believe that you can treat things with, I'm not saying, oh no, never treat anything with medicine. But some things, how many times have you met a client and been like, if you literally just stretch, you'll stop having this hip pain. Like, just stretch. Like, I don't understand how many times I can tell you this. Stretch your hip flexor, you won't have this hip flexor pain. Don't sit down for 4 hours a day.
Right.
For me, kind of makes the patient also more culpable, and also putting the issues into their hands as well, because this is 50-50. Not just me giving you something to solve your issues. That's not how life works. You need to do something also. And that's what I do like about being a DO. And my goal is to have my own wellness center as well as my own apothecary. So I'll be able to be like, and then be able to give you herbal remedies as well as medicinal remedies, but also have a wellness center where I have Pilates studio, personal training, and you can just come.
Oh, it's going to be a dope center. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you're going to, and so you're going to be an OMD.
Oh, DO. So just call it DO.
Just call it DO. And DO stands again for?
Osteopathic doctor, or Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. Doctor of
Osteopathic Medicine. And you still got to go through all the same training everybody else does. You still got to go 8 more years.
All the same training. The only difference is, if you notice with an MD, they won't touch you. They're not very hands-on. They don't really want to it's like, I don't want to say like treatment is the only way to describe it, but they're not as hands-on. A DO, I like to see, or what my experiences have been, is they're going to do more, say for instance your hips hurt, they're going to do more manual therapy. Because I used to also train at a physical therapist office, because at first I wanted to be a physical therapist. And then when I realized like there has to be a go between physical therapy and then like a doctor, because I was like, also, if I'm going to go to school and waste this much money, I'm going to go and do the biggest thing possible.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm not going to waste money to still get paid $80,000 to $100,000. I'm not doing it. Like, no.
And you'll have an incredible amount of autonomy.
Exactly. And it's really with that. It's just the autonomy. Because I really, like, with me, like physical therapy or even just MD, sometimes you just don't have all the ranges of things. And I feel like for me, a DO fits better for me because of me coming from a personal training and Pilates background.
Right.
Because it's just, you're more hands-on, you're able to do more. And I was reading some articles, and I've been reading articles and reading a lot of articles. And the one thing that changed me was I read about the Olympics in London. Yeah, the London Olympics. One of the doctors was like, I went out there, I'm a DO, and I went out there with one of my friends, he's an MD, and he was training the clients and stuff like that, like all the sports people and stuff in the Olympic Village. And he was like, my MD friend was just bored. He was just writing out prescriptions and slinging aspirin. But for me, I'm up here manual therapy of people and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense because you can just do more. But also I'm very into sports medicine. So my goal is to I would love, my goal would be to be the head doctor for the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh my God, my brain just froze. The quarterback who I like.
Matty Ice.
Yes.
Matty.
I haven't watched football all season. It's kind of maddening that I haven't. So I haven't watched sports all season. I still don't know if the Lakers won Game 5. Did they win?
First off, I didn't even know that they were in the finals. I was like, when did this happen?
Okay, so what am I asking?
I was like, finals? Y'all playing basketball? First off, I was like, basketball.
They're in a bubble. Wait, they're in a bubble, and apparently so are you.
I was like, y'all been playing basketball? Because Twitter is like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, did you know?
Okay, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. Wait, so do you know though? What's up with? I don't know. I need somebody to tell me. Somebody tell me. But I want to read I want to read a quote because it goes with what you are talking about with why you're studying what you're studying, and talking about your friend or just reading up on the Olympics in London, and the DO is having the time of his life, but it all kind of goes with what you stand for and what you're talking about. But this quote, which is one of my favorites, it's one of my favorite authors, Audre Lorde, but yours as well. And here's the quote, because I love telling people this. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. It's a mic drop.
Every time.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes. For me, it gives me the permission I never gave myself. It's the permission that society never gave you. And it helps me to understand society doesn't have to give me permission to take care of myself.
At all, period.
And it goes deeper than that into knowing that I feel I want to save the world, but how are you going to win when you ain't right within? I'm going to go get a little hill up in here. But yeah, we can't do
it.
What'd you say?
How are you going to save the world if you're tired?
And we have so much work to do. We have so much work to do as a people, as a society, as a world, as the globe. All this, we have so much work to do on so many levels. And
it's tiring.
That quote brings it brings it on home, because when people are like, well, I've got to go viva la revolution and we got to do all these things, it's like, yeah, but you're shit. Like, you can't even get yourself together. So how are you
If your back hurting, what's that gonna do? If your back hurting, if your feet hurt, if your calves hurt, if your back goes out because you ain't been stretching, if your hip, what is that gonna do? You can't be of use to anyone if you're falling apart. You cannot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just gave my little bit on why I gave that, why I love the quote. That's just one little piece. It's not my interview. So I wanted you talk about why that quote is so important. And there's a couple of things here. One, why is that quote so important to you? Two, how did that quote help you in the forming of your business, help you in the forming of the dope as march we had this summer? And how does it just help you with everyday life? And a lot of things can stem from that one quote. So let's just talk about it.
So, I like it because it delineates between self-maintenance and self-care. So it's also totally two different things. And I realize especially as women, we tend to fall into the self-maintenance category and think it's self-care. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing at all.
Yeah.
Like you beating your face, going grocery shop, like going shopping for new clothes and getting a mani-pedi is self-maintenance. That is not self-care. You have done nothing to make yourself better as a person. Like, you not, I'm sorry. I love a good mani-pedi. I do one every week. But myself. Yep. I have a little drill and everything, like myself. But that doesn't add to you as a person. Now, self-care, have you done your therapy? Have you done anything to actually decrease the tension in your body? And that comes in multiple forms of things. Have you read a book? Have you journaled? Have you stepped away from your phone? Have you done anything that's not indulgent in that manner, like anything that's going to actually heal you and make sure that you can come back as a better person the next day? Because if you still have that mental clutter, you still have all of that tension in your body, you're not going to be able to sit up at your desk and sit on Zoom for 8 hours because your hips hurt. You don't want to sit on Zoom because your hips hurt. Like,
right.
You got to take care of yourself more. And for me, it was very big in formulating my thoughts, because that's also when I found out about Audre Lorde. And as a queer woman, when you find Doctor Lord, you're like, so for me, it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, she's speaking to me. Like, this is a moment. So every time I see the quote, it makes me like, oh no, I need to take care of or just a reminder of taking care of yourself is a moment of political resistance. And as Black women and a Black queer woman, taking that moment back to say, no, I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to turn my phone off. No, I'm going to shut my computer off, and I'm going to take these 30, 45 minutes to take care of myself. No, you don't have access to me. Because what you're telling someone is, no, you don't have access to me during this certain amount of time. No, you are not going to change or alter my mental state in this moment. I'm happy in this moment. Or even I was talking to a friend last night, just allowing yourself to feel all your feels is a self-care moment. Allowing yourself to actually be a part of society and present in your body. And I think that's what that biggest part of that quote is to me, is being present and being aware of, I'm getting chills. Being present and being aware in your body is political resistance, because they don't want us to be here. They don't want us here. And I was telling a friend, actually having a whole nother conversation with a friend about, if you think about it, the unearthing is this. The hardest part is they bury us 6 feet in the beginning. We came here buried 6 feet, period. They have, and I tell people, they come here, they don't want to see us strive. They came here to kill us, like, period. Don't think anything else. Don't try and synthesize. Don't try to make it all nice and airy. No, they came here to get rid of us. They came here, they were like, okay, you served your purpose, now you need to get rid of us. So you're buried 6 feet. So trying to get even just to ground level, or trying to break through the earth, trying to unearth yourself, is the hardest part.
Yes.
It is the hardest part. And caring for yourself automatically gives you that moment, because every time you take the moment to tear back a layer, or actually, why am I feeling so tense? Why do I have this here? Actually getting to the root of your problem will always be a political resistance, because they don't want you to do it. Anytime you do anything apart from divesting from the status quo, divesting from white society, divesting from even certain things within the Black community, taking care of yourself, like, that is one thing. Like, how often do you hear, I still get it from my mama, you doing that? Yes, I'm doing a face mask. What's the problem? Yes, I'm going to yoga class. Training for the
Yes.
marathon. You're doing yoga? You're doing that? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I am actually taking care of myself. And you can see it reflect outwardly. Like, just period.
Yes.
And then the last question. I think I skipped over that one.
No, just how does it run what does that quote do to help you run your business, help you run your life?
It helps me run my business and life because it keeps me grounded, and also it helps me get, I know I don't like saying I need permission to do things, but it also just gives me permission to like saying, no, this is badass. No, why am I asking for any type of validation or affirmation from the world? I affirm myself. As long as I'm doing everything in my life and everything correctly to build my business, further myself as a person, further myself and further my society and my community, I'm doing everything I need to do. And I don't need to ask for permission. It gives me kind of a thing of, because it's on the first thing on my website. So when I log in, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't need to ask for permission. Like, this is for me. It's for me. And I think that's the deepest thing. It's for me, regardless of what I'm doing. It's for me only.
So you understand the power of no. The power of no.
Yes. I took a lot of therapy, took like 2 years of therapy. But yeah, I finally have learned the power of no, and the power of leave me the hell alone. Like, I'm over here and I'm minding my business.
Yeah. I had a little thing where I was like, for some people, they don't know how to say no. And I was like, it's okay if you don't. How about this? Say yes to you. So if someone asks you to go somewhere or do something, you think about you first. Somebody wants you to do something on Thursday at 5 o'clock, and by Thursday at 5, you are done. Say yes to yourself and stay home. Say yes to yourself, put your feet up, grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, and watch Girlfriends on Netflix.
Exactly. But there's so many ways to say no. I think people think just no. It's like, sorry. For me, it was easier for me to ease into the sorry, I can't, and I actually had to like start breaking the habit of saying sorry. When you first met, I was like, I'm sorry.
Sorry. My aunt,
sorry.
God bless my aunt. She never, ever, ever holds her tongue. My aunt is like, we used to always be like, oh, sorry. She was like, yo, sorry ain't water. Can't just grab it whenever. It has to be real. It has to be so. And don't be sorry. Stop saying sorry. Sorry. For what? Like, for what?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry for what? And then even the thing is like this. So even in class, like I teach my clients or even class attendees, like, oh, because you also realize that when people roll around the mat, oh, I'm sorry. No, you're not sorry. You're taking care of yourself. You're not being indulgent. You're taking a moment in society, especially I really want people of color to understand. Society doesn't want us to do this, like, period. Society does not want us happy. Society does not want us feeling good in our bodies. Society does not want us to take claim of ourselves and feel your body. Even with me, our first conversation I had this morning with my mama. Society does not want you to be happy.
Yes.
So that period. Once the moment you divest from any type of, I've been saying recently, divest from the straight agenda, but that's a whole other story.
Divest from the what?
Divest from the straight agenda. But it's one of those, like, once you divest from any point inside of society from, oh, I'm not going to wear my hair like this. Oh, I'm not going to wear this. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Exactly.
I'm with you.
Now, also, circling back, we some black Pilates instructors.
We some black ass Pilates instructors. We BAPs. We are the new BAPs.
Some black ass Pilates instructors. So it's one of those like, oh, that's a great Halloween idea. Oh my gosh, that's a great Halloween idea.
We gotta call Sonia with that one.
Yes. All right. Sonia, please watch this. Oh my gosh, yes. But it's one of those like, everything you do is just different. I feel like just everything you do to make yourself happy, to circle back to the quote, anything you do to make yourself happy is political resistance now.
Yes.
Especially now. If we know what's going on politically, if we know what's going on socially, definitely they're trying to kill us. Like, period. Kamala said it. Kamala said it. Sorry.
That's your son.
Exactly. Kamala said it. They're trying to kill us. They are trying to kill you. Period. Point blank.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to combat that some kind of way.
Yes, you do. And self-care, get your mind right. Get your mind right.
And circling back, mental flexibility and physical flexibility are akin to one another. So if you want to get better at learning something, if you want to get better at
I'm sorry, press repeat. Mental flexibility, right?
And physical flexibility are akin to one another. They are twins. They are not cousins. They are not besties. They are twins. So if you sitting up here wondering why you can't sit through this Zoom meeting, why your hip hurting, go stretch. You'll feel a lot better. You'll be able to sit longer. You'll be able to feel longer. But also, because I watched so many interviews, I learned that while watching this like Turkish grand chess champion, you know, the high grand wizard. I don't know what it is, like a little grand master person.
Grand wizard is KKK. But yeah, I think they're grand.
I was like, I don't know what the
but yeah.
Abort mission. That he was like some high up like chess champion, and he was going to like this battle, and he was like, also kind of was like, he was like, I only can remain mentally flexible if I'm physically flexible. So he's like, I have to be in the gym 2 hours a day. I have to do my yoga for an hour. I have to do my lifting for an hour, because I'm able to sit in a match and focus, because there's nothing else distracting me. I am mentally clear. I'm physically relaxed. And that's what really helps me.
Yeah.
And that's what so those two, like, you can't be, it doesn't work. It can't correspond, because what your proprioception is doing.
Right.
Like, they're gonna come, they're also top-down process. It's gonna come from your brain. It's gonna go somewhere in your body. So if you don't release that physical tension, it's gonna remain mentally tense. You have to. But also because everything from your brain sends downward. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. I tell everybody the workout starts here. Starts here, trickles down to the rest of your body.
Exactly. Top-down processing. That's what you need to do. You have to be able to synthesize it.
So, I can't believe it. We're almost done, which is like, I'm bugging out, because this is how this happens. Because the conversation is just so damn good. So, okay, you got like a minute. Give some final words, like something that you want some words of wisdom, something that you want people to really hold on to, a message, a purpose, whatever it is, something you would like people to hold on to. Something to motivate, because this is motivating the motivator. So.
Yes. Truly take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just truly take care of yourself genuinely. Take that moment to just step away from all the mental clutter. When the moment you get into that little heady, like, take a moment to just breathe deeply. Like, inhale and big exhale through your belly. And I don't want to say, oh, it's going to be okay. But no, it may not be okay. And that is also okay. Like, it is okay to feel your feels. It is okay to feel tense. It is okay to feel angry. And that's what I want everyone. Like, feel your feels. Just feel your feels. But also, don't feel your feels for too long that you can't do anything about it. You got to do something about it. You got to acknowledge the feeling, but you also have to be willing to dissipate those feelings. You have to be willing to change your universe, change the world around you. You can't just sit up here and acknowledge the feeling and do nothing about it. You have to do something about it, whether that's in a class, whether that's in yoga, journaling, therapy, whatever. You have to.
The lights are coming through. It's like hearts are just popping up on that one. That's deep. Yes.
You have to do what you do about it. Because you can say I'm sad all day long. What you gonna do something? Cure your sadness. That can be a movie. That can be a bottle of wine. Responsibly. Responsibly. But it could be a multitude of things. It could be calling a friend. But the thing is, the hardest part is actually doing something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do something about it, regardless of how that looks. Care. Indulgence. It's not indulgent. It's a political resistance. It's all it is. It's all encompassing.
All right, baby. Give me a number. So I love to leave with an affirmation. Ooh, I know, right? So give me a number between 1 and 10.
8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The affirmation you chose is, I am worthy. Boom. I am worthy. That's your affirmation for the day. That works perfectly with self-care. You are worthy of self-care.
Oh my goodness, yes, yes, and yes. Worthy.
Worthy.
Oh my goodness. So
That's what you chose today. And I
I
love
love
you. I'm so glad that we were chosen for each other because I love you, boo boo.
you. I'm glad to have you in my life. Yes.
And I love you for your power and your courageousness, your power, your truth. And I just love you, honey.
I just love you too.
Oh, and we've broken bread together. Lunches are funny.
Yes. Lunches, drinking. We've had a few good times. And then protest, like the protest was so much. And also, yeah, did a whole protest. Whole protest
The
together.
protest was just, she did an
So much
amazing job.
magical.
It was magical. It was, and it was, yeah, stopping traffic,
I love
walking. We were let me just give everybody a little taste of your amazingness. We were walking down Broadway in Soho. Soho. All traffic stopped. And there's a rainbow coalition of people walking down the street, masked up, because you know what? We ain't stupid. So we're walking down the street, masked up, still yelling, and pretty much distance. I can't breathe. We yelling for Breonna Taylor. That's the other thing. Oh my God, really quick. Because yes, George Floyd, yes, everyone, but really quick. Oh, I got like 1 minute. But we talk about the brothers who have been killed. We need to talk about them. But Bridgette has made it so that she's like, listen, they matter, damn sure matter, but we're not talking about the Black women that are being destroyed. The Black women, the queer women, the trans women, the Black women that are being killed as well. I'm glad we're speaking. I'm glad we're speaking about Breonna because she is kind of the representation. But to take us out, can you give us some names that we should not forget?
Tatiana Jefferson, as well as use your words, Bridgette. Whew. Sandra Bland. We need to open that case again. I'm very big on opening Sandra Bland's case again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Open Sandra Bland's case. Again.
Yeah.
And the fact Corinne Gaines. Corinne, so many. There's just also just my brain is like.
I know.
And I think that's not the sad part, but the part that makes me the most sad is because the list is long.
It is.
I'm kidding. Yeah. No, it's just.
It is long. It is long.
Dominique Fells, transgender woman. Dominique Fells, like so many. And then the crazy part, and not the crazy part is, it's just the fact that it's still. We are, it's one of those things that just with Black women, we just don't get heard enough. Like it's just we are not heard enough. We're not seen enough. No one stands up for us, and I think that's what made me Toyin, Justice for Toyin, Oluwatoyin, that so many women. And I think not the problem. We know what the problem is. It's just Black women are the canaries in the mine. They always try to kill. The Black women are the canaries in the mine. The one thing about that analogy is the canary always dies. Once the canary dies, then that's when they leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that bothers me.
Yeah.
Black women are the canary in the mine, but what they don't tell you is the canary dies also.
Right.
Once the canary dies, that means there's too much whatever the gas that's being released from the coal mines. That's when you have to leave because you will die next. Because the canary's minds, our lungs are smaller, our bodies you're expendable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I always say: Black women are the canaries in the mine of the world.
We're gonna leave with that power, because even though somebody might think that is a down way to end it, no, it's a powerful way to end our conversation, because it just lets you know, yes, for that, but yes, we are here, and yes, the more we're aware, the more we're able to move forward, and the more we're able to fight, and the more we're able to be on one accord and be able to fight for what we need. And the more we're on one accord, the more you get others to come in and also have our backs, because
And
we already got our
down. I really feel like a lot of times people tend to trend that into a negative way. It's not down, it's honest.
It's honest.
You have
we got 10 seconds.
Exactly. It's just all honesty. That's really what it is.
I love you, honey. I love you, baby. It's so good to see you. I'm coming out to Harlem soon. I'm gonna come see you.